The sky burned red as the alien ships descended. They came without warning, their massive vessels blotting out the sun. The ground shook with every explosion, and the air was filled with the screams of those who couldn't escape. In the middle of the chaos, a man ran. His name didn't matter. What mattered was the strange object he carried in his hands. It was small, no bigger than a book, but it pulsed with a faint blue light. He had found it buried beneath the rubble of what was once a bustling city. The aliens had called humanity primitive. They had laughed as their weapons tore through skyscrapers and turned streets into craters. But this object felt different. It felt alive. As the man ducked into a crumbling building, he heard a voice. It wasn't human. It came from the object, low and steady. Activation sequence initiated, it said. The man froze. He didn't understand what was happening, but he knew one thing: this object was the key to something much bigger. Outside, the alien ships hovered closer, their weapons charging for another strike. The man clutched the object tightly, his heart pounding. If humanity was going to survive, they would need more than luck. They would need a miracle. And this object might just be it. The man stumbled through the ruins, the strange object clutched tightly to his chest. His breath came in ragged gasps, and his legs burned with exhaustion. Behind him, the alien ships loomed like shadows, their weapons lighting up the sky with bursts of energy. He didn't know where he was going, but he knew he had to keep moving. Finally, he reached a hidden entrance to an underground bunker. The resistance had been using it as a base, a last refuge for those who refused to give up. He pounded on the metal door, his voice hoarse as he shouted for help. The door creaked open, and a pair of hands pulled him inside. The room was dimly lit, filled with the faces of desperate men and women. They were scientists, engineers, soldiers, people who had dedicated their lives to fighting back against the invaders. The man collapsed to his knees, holding out the object. "I found this, in the ruins," he gasped. It's not human." The room fell silent as everyone stared at the glowing device. One of the scientists, an older man with glasses, stepped forward and carefully took it. He examined it closely, his hands trembling with excitement. This is incredible," the scientist whispered. "The technology, it's unlike anything we've ever seen. It's not just alien, it's ancient. And it's active." The man who had brought the device looked up, his eyes wide. "What does it do?" The scientist hesitated. "I don't know yet. But if we can figure it out, it could change everything." Over the next few days, the resistance worked tirelessly to study the device. They discovered that it emitted a unique energy signature, one that seemed to interfere with alien technology. When they tested it on a captured alien drone, the drone shut down immediately. But the device was more than just a weapon. It was a puzzle, filled with cryptic symbols and patterns that none of the scientists could decipher. It was as if it was waiting for something, or someone. As the resistance debated their next move, the man who had found the device couldn't shake the feeling that they were running out of time. The aliens were growing bolder, their attacks more frequent. Cities were falling, and the resistance was losing hope. One night, as the man sat alone in the bunker, he heard the voice again. It came from the device, soft and insistent. "Activation complete," it said. "Prepare for interface." The man's heart raced. He didn't know what the words meant, but he knew one thing: the device was waking up. And when it did, everything would change. The resistance was divided. Some believed the device was their only hope, while others feared it was too dangerous to use. But as the alien attacks grew more relentless, they had no choice. They had to act. The plan was simple: use the device to disable an alien outpost and send a message to the invaders. Humanity was not as helpless as they thought. A small team was chosen for the mission, including the man who had found the device. He carried it in a specially designed backpack, its faint blue light visible through the fabric. The team moved quickly and quietly through the ruins, avoiding alien patrols as they made their way to the outpost. When they reached their destination, the sight took their breath away. The outpost was a massive structure, towering over the landscape like a fortress. Alien ships hovered above it, their weapons scanning the ground for any sign of movement. The team set up their equipment and prepared to activate the device. The man hesitated, his hand hovering over the controls. He didn't know what would happen, but he knew there was no turning back. "Here goes nothing," he muttered, pressing the button. The device hummed to life, its light growing brighter and brighter. The air around them crackled with energy, and the ground began to shake. The aliens seemed to sense something was wrong, their ship started to move, their weapons charging up. But it was too late. A pulse of energy erupted from the device, spreading out in all directions. The alien ships shuddered and then went dark, crashing to the ground in silence. The outpost's lights flickered and died, leaving it completely powerless. The team stared in awe. It had worked. The device had done exactly what they hoped it would. But their celebration was short-lived. As they prepared to leave, a new sound filled the air, a low, ominous hum. They turned to see a massive alien ship descending from the clouds, far larger than anything they had seen before. The man's heart sank. They had won a small victory, but the war was far from over. The massive alien ship loomed over the resistance team, its shadow swallowing the ruins below. The team froze, unsure of what to do. The device had worked against the smaller ships and the outpost, but this was something else entirely. Before they could react, a beam of light shot down from the ship, enveloping them in a blinding glow. When the light faded, they found themselves surrounded by a new group of aliens, taller, more elegant, and unlike the invaders they had been fighting. These aliens wore sleek armor and carried no visible weapons, but their presence was intimidating. One of them stepped forward, speaking in a calm, melodic voice. "We are not your enemies," it said. "We have been watching your struggle, and we offer our assistance." The resistance team exchanged uneasy glances. They had been betrayed before, and trust was in short supply. But with the massive alien ship hovering above them, they had little choice. The leader of the new alien faction explained that they were part of a coalition fighting against the invaders. They had been searching for the ancient device, believing it to be the key to ending the war. In exchange for their help, they asked to study the device and learn its secrets. Reluctantly, the resistance agreed. They returned to their bunker with the new allies, hoping that this partnership would turn the tide of the war. For a while, things seemed to improve. The new aliens shared their technology, helping the resistance build stronger defenses and more advanced weapons. They worked side by side with the humans, studying the device and trying to unlock its full potential. But the man who had found the device couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. The new aliens were too eager, too focused on the device. They asked too many questions, and their smiles never reached their eyes. One night, his fears were confirmed. He woke to the sound of alarms blaring through the bunker. The new aliens had betrayed them, stealing the device and fleeing into the night. The resistance was devastated. They had lost their greatest weapon, and with it, their hope. But as they searched the bunker for answers, they found something unexpected, a hidden compartment in the device's casing, containing a single, glowing symbol. It was a map. The discovery of the map changed everything. It was no ordinary map, it was a star chart, pointing to a location deep in space. The resistance scientists quickly realized that it marked the origin of the ancient device. If they could reach that location, they might find answers, and perhaps even a way to turn the tide of the war. But getting there wouldn't be easy. The resistance had no ships capable of interstellar travel, and the aliens controlled the skies. They needed a plan, and they needed it fast. The man who had found the device stepped forward. "We don't need their ships," he said. "We can build our own." At first, the idea seemed impossible. But as the resistance came together, they realized that they had something the aliens didn't: ingenuity. Humans had always been resourceful, finding ways to survive against impossible odds. This was no different. Using the technology the new aliens had left behind, the resistance began constructing a ship. It was crude compared to the sleek alien vessels, but it was theirs. They worked day and night, fueled by desperation and determination. Meanwhile, the scientists continued to study the device's energy signature. They discovered that it could be replicated using human-made materials, though on a much smaller scale. This breakthrough gave them a new weapon, a portable version of the device's energy pulse, capable of disabling alien technology. As the ship neared completion, the resistance prepared for their next move. They knew the aliens would be watching, waiting for them to make a mistake. But they also knew that this was their only chance. The day of the launch arrived, and the entire bunker gathered to watch. The ship, named the Dawn, stood ready on the makeshift launch pad. It was a symbol of humanity's resilience, a testament to their refusal to give up. The man who had found the device boarded the ship, along with a small crew of volunteers. As the engines roared to life, he looked out at the faces of the people he was leaving behind. They were scared, but they were also hopeful. The ship lifted off, rising into the sky as the resistance cheered below. The aliens noticed immediately, their ships converging on the Dawn. But the resistance was ready. They activated the portable energy pulses, creating a barrier that disrupted the alien ship's systems. For the first time in months, humanity had the upper hand. The Dawn soared through the atmosphere, leaving Earth's ruins behind. The crew watched in awe as the stars came into view, their light piercing the darkness of space. For a moment, it felt like hope was within reach. But the aliens weren't going to let them go so easily. A fleet of alien ships appeared on the horizon, their weapons charging as they closed in on the Dawn. The crew braced themselves, knowing that this would be their greatest test yet. The man who had found the device stood at the helm, his hands steady on the controls. He had come too far to turn back now. "Activate the pulse," he ordered. The portable energy pulses flared to life, creating a barrier around the ship. The alien ships hesitated, their systems flickering as the pulses disrupted their technology. But the larger ships were unaffected, their advanced systems shielding them from the energy waves. One of the alien ships fired, its weapon striking the Dawn's hull. The ship shuddered, alarms blaring as the crew scrambled to stabilize it. The man clenched his teeth, his mind racing. They couldn't outrun the aliens, and they couldn't fight them head-on. They needed another plan. Then, he remembered the map. The star chart had shown a nearby asteroid field, a dangerous maze of rocks and debris, but also a potential hiding place. "Take us into the asteroid field," he ordered. The crew hesitated, but they knew they had no choice. The Dawn veered sharply, plunging into the asteroid field. The alien ships followed, but their larger size made it difficult to navigate the tight spaces. As the Dawn weaved through the asteroids, the man noticed something strange. The device in his possession began to glow brighter, its energy pulsing in time with the ship's movements. It was as if it was guiding them, leading them to something. Suddenly, the ship's sensors picked up a signal, a faint, repeating pattern coming from deep within the asteroid field. The man's heart raced. Could this be what the map was pointing to? The crew followed the signal, their hope growing with every passing moment. But the aliens were still behind them, their weapons firing relentlessly. Just as it seemed like all was lost, the Dawn emerged from the asteroid field into a clearing. There, floating in the void, was a massive structure, an ancient, derelict ship, covered in the same symbols as the device. The man stared in awe. This was it. This was the key to everything. But before they could reach it, the alien ships closed in, their weapons locking onto the Dawn. The man knew they were out of time. Then, something unexpected happened. The ancient ship began to glow, its lights flickering to life as if awakening from a long slumber. A beam of energy shot out, striking the alien ships and disabling them in an instant. The crew of the Dawn watched in stunned silence as the ancient ship powered up, its massive engines humming with energy. The man realized the truth: this ship wasn't just a relic. It was a weapon. And it was on their side. The ancient ship was unlike anything the crew of the Dawn had ever seen. Its massive hull was covered in intricate designs, and its technology far surpassed anything humanity or the aliens had ever created. As the ship powered up, the man who had found the device felt a strange connection to it, as if it had been waiting for him all along. The crew quickly realized that the ancient ship was not just a weapon, it was a warship, designed to fight against the very invaders that now threatened Earth. Its systems were linked to the device, which acted as a key to unlock its full potential. With the alien fleet disabled, the crew of the Dawn boarded the ancient ship, their hearts pounding with anticipation. The man took the device to the ship's control center, where it slotted perfectly into a waiting console. The ship's systems came to life, its screens displaying star maps and battle plans. It was time to take the fight to the aliens. The ancient ship, now under human control, set a course for Earth. As they approached the planet, they were met with a grim sight. The alien fleet had regrouped, their ships forming a blockade around the planet. The invaders were determined to crush humanity once and for all. But the ancient ship was ready. Its weapons charged, and its shields flared to life as it plunged into the heart of the alien fleet. The battle was fierce, with energy beams and explosions lighting up the darkness of space. The crew of the Dawn worked tirelessly, coordinating the ship's systems and targeting the alien vessels. The man stood at the helm, his hands gripping the controls as he guided the ship through the chaos. He could feel the ancient ship responding to his commands, its systems working in perfect harmony with the device. It was as if the ship had been designed for him, for this moment. As the battle raged on, the aliens began to realize that they were outmatched. Their ships were no match for the ancient technology, and their weapons were useless against its shields. One by one, their vessels were destroyed, until only the mothership remained. The mothership was massive, its dark hull bristling with weapons. It was the heart of the alien fleet, and the source of their power. The man knew that destroying it would end the war, but it wouldn't be easy. The ancient ship charged forward, its weapons firing relentlessly at the mothership. The aliens fought back with everything they had, but it wasn't enough. With a final, devastating blast, the mothership's core was breached, and it exploded in a blinding flash of light. The alien fleet was defeated. The explosion of the alien mothership lit up the sky, a brilliant flash that could be seen from Earth's surface. As the light faded, the remnants of the alien fleet drifted aimlessly, their ships lifeless and broken. The war was over. The ancient ship, now scarred and battered from the battle, descended toward Earth. The crew of the Dawn watched in silence as the planet came into view. From space, it looked peaceful, but they knew the scars of the war ran deep. When the ship landed, the resistance gathered to greet them. Cheers erupted as the crew stepped out, their faces weary but triumphant. The man who had found the device was hailed as a hero, but he knew the victory belonged to everyone who had fought and sacrificed. In the days that followed, humanity began to rebuild. The alien technology left behind was studied and repurposed, helping to restore what had been lost. The ancient ship, now a symbol of hope, was placed in a museum, where people could come to learn about the war and the bravery of those who had fought in it. But the man couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to the story. The ancient ship and the device had been created by an advanced civilization, one that had foreseen the threat of the aliens and prepared for it. Who were they? And why had they chosen humanity to carry on their legacy? One day, as he stood in the museum, staring at the ancient ship, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. A small panel on the ship's hull had opened, revealing a hidden compartment. Inside was a message, written in a language that the device quickly translated. It read, "To those who come after us, know that you are not alone. The universe is vast, and there are others who will stand with you. But remember, true strength comes not from technology, but from the unity and resilience of those who fight for what is right." The man smiled. The message was a reminder of what humanity had learned through the war. That even in the face of overwhelming odds, they could prevail if they stood together. As he left the museum, he looked up at the sky. The stars were no longer a source of fear, but a symbol of possibility. Humanity had faced the darkness and emerged stronger, ready to take its place among the stars. And so, the story of the Galactic War became a lesson for future generations, a reminder that no matter how primitive others may see you, the strength to rise above lies within.